King Frederik X and Queen Mary of Denmark lit up the European stage in dazzling fashion as Denmark assumed the rotating presidency of the EU Council with a truly majestic opening ceremony in Aarhus on July 3, 2025. Against a backdrop of sweeping blue skies and the gentle, glistening waters of the Kattegat, the Danish royals transformed an already picturesque city into the center of European unity, power, and cultural pride. It was more than a ceremony, it was a statement, one that reverberated through the corridors of Brussels, Paris, Berlin, and beyond, sending a clear message that Denmark, under the reign of its confident and modern monarchs, was ready to steer the helm of European cooperation with grace, style, and a certain Nordic flair that only Copenhagen's royal court could provide. The day began long before the cameras caught sight of the elegant Royal Yacht Dannebrog slicing through the waters toward Aarhus harbor. In quiet royal quarters aboard the vessel, King Frederik and Queen Mary were said to have shared a tender breakfast moment, reviewing speeches, program details, and offering each other supportive nods and gentle smiles. Those close to the palace reveal that such behind-the-scenes glimpses underscore the strength of their partnership, a partnership not only in marriage but in statecraft, diplomacy, and the subtle art of soft power that only royals can wield with such enduring effect. As the Dannebrog approached the bustling dock lined with Danish and EU flags fluttering together in a gentle summer breeze, thousands of onlookers gathered. Many had traveled from neighboring towns with their children draped in small Danish flags, eager to witness a page of history unfold before their eyes. The air was filled with a peculiar kind of electricity, part pride, part curiosity, and largely a profound respect for an institution that continues to blend centuries of tradition with the urgent challenges of today's Europe. When King Frederik finally stepped onto the red carpet laid out on the pier, he did so with the easy athletic grace that once made him one of Denmark's most eligible young royals, now matured into the confident stride of a sovereign who understands his symbolic power. Dressed impeccably in a tailored dark suit accented by a subtle Danish order sash and a discreet EU lapel pin, he embodied the perfect fusion of national and continental allegiance. Queen Mary, by his side, captured hearts instantly in a flowing ivory ensemble adorned with delicate embroidery that reportedly paid homage to both Danish maritime heritage and subtle Australian floral motifs, a nod to her own origins that never fails to draw admiration from royal watchers and style analysts alike. The ceremony itself was orchestrated with the kind of precision Denmark is famous for. The national anthems of Denmark and the EU resounded across the harbor, played by the Royal Life Guards band stationed on an elevated platform that overlooked the crowd. As the final triumphant notes faded, King Frederik stepped forward to deliver an address that would later be replayed across European news channels countless times. With a calm yet resonant voice that carried effortlessly over the open air, he spoke of unity in the face of shared challenges, of Denmark's commitment to fostering innovation, sustainability, and a more resilient Europe in times of geopolitical strain. Observers noted his subtle yet firm references to energy security and green transitions, topics that Denmark, a leader in wind energy and sustainable urban planning, is uniquely positioned to champion. Queen Mary's role, though less formal in speech, was equally powerful in optics and quiet diplomacy. Throughout the day, she was seen engaging with EU commissioners, local mayors, young innovators who had been specially invited to showcase Danish tech solutions, and even local schoolchildren who had prepared small hand-painted EU Danish flags. Her warm, animated conversations, punctuated by laughter and the occasional affectionate squeeze of a small shoulder or handshake, offered a living portrait of the softer side of monarchy, one that binds people through genuine human connection. Among the most striking moments of the day came when the royal couple, after the main stage events, hosted an exclusive luncheon aboard the Dannebrog itself. This invitation-only affair brought together key EU officials, Danish ministers, and a sprinkling of European ambassadors. While cameras were kept largely at bay to allow candid conversations, leaks from diplomatic aides later painted a picture of lively discussions over Baltic security, cross-border digital infrastructure, and even the cultural exchanges Denmark hopes to spearhead over its 6-month term. It is in such intimate gatherings that much of Europe's future shape is quietly molded, over glasses of chilled white wine and platters of locally sourced seafood, under the gentle nods and carefully chosen words of a well-briefed monarch and his consort. Even as protocol drove much of the day, there were moments of charming spontaneity. A slight gust of wind playfully lifted Queen Mary's hat, sending aides into a brief scramble that ended in shared laughter among the royals and the crowd. A small girl broke through a cordon to hand the Queen a freshly picked bouquet of wildflowers, leading to a tender crouch and a whispered thank you from Mary that brought tears to the child's mother's eyes. King Frederik was overheard making a wry joke to the EU Council President about Danish weather being unpredictable but always memorable, drawing hearty chuckles that seemed to ease the day's diplomatic pressures. As evening approached, the celebration shifted into a more festive gear. Historic ships adorned with lights glided into the harbor as choirs positioned along the quays broke into traditional Danish songs. The royal couple, joined now by Crown Prince Christian and Princess Isabella, who had both taken brief leaves from their summer academic pursuits, waved from the deck of the Dannebrog, framed against a glorious sunset that painted the sky in streaks of crimson and gold. This tableau, captured by countless photographers, was immediately splashed across the front pages of not just Danish papers but also key European outlets, reinforcing the powerful image of a young, united, forward-looking monarchy anchoring Denmark's place in Europe. Meanwhile, analysts have been quick to parse the deeper significance of this grand opening. Some see it as a masterclass in modern monarchy leveraging historical symbolism, the Royal Yacht, centuries of Danish maritime tradition, and the soft glow of candlelit dinners aboard a vessel that has hosted generations of European leaders. Others point out that in an era where populism and EU skepticism still simmer across many member states, Denmark's calm, open-handed approach, personified by King Frederik's accessible style and Queen Mary's cosmopolitan charm, offers a refreshing counterpoint. The optics of a royal family genuinely engaging with youth, tech innovators, and green entrepreneurs does more than any policy paper could to shore up confidence in a cooperative European future. Critics, of course, were not entirely silent. Some voices questioned the expense of royal-led spectacles at a time when parts of Europe grapple with cost of living crises. Yet polling done in the days following the ceremony suggested an overwhelming Danish, and surprisingly broad European, approval of the event, with many citing it as a welcome morale boost and a reminder of shared values. In Copenhagen cafes and Brussels offices alike, people were talking about Denmark not merely as a small Nordic nation but as a spirited steward of Europe's common journey, guided by a monarchy that understands its role as both a symbol and an active diplomatic player. By nightfall, as fireworks danced over Aarhus Bay and the strains of a specially commissioned orchestral piece filled the air, King Frederik and Queen Mary were once again seen on the upper deck of the Dannebrog, arms gently touching, exchanging quiet words that only they could hear. It was a fitting close to a day that had deftly combined spectacle with substance, local pride with European commitment, and the reassuring constancy of tradition with the palpable excitement of a future yet to be fully written. And so, as Denmark embarks on these crucial months guiding the European Council's agenda, under the watchful eye and careful stewardship of its modern royal family, one cannot help but wonder, how will this chapter of Danish and European history be remembered decades from now, and what lasting legacies might be forged from the graceful hands of King Frederik and Queen Mary that future generations will celebrate?